Oh, anyway, thank you for that. The next presenter is Justin from Swinburne. So it's segueing kind of nicely because now you know what you're going to get pummeled with. Justin is a web developer at Swinburne University Library for the last 3 years. Prior to that, he worked on the Swinburne Aleph migration team. So he's had a really interesting life. He does back office admin of Primo and UI customization. Over the last 6 months, Swinburne has done an internal study on the broad topic of search and how the library and Primo can do this better for current students. And this study has led to major UI changes within the Swinburne Primo. And this is due to be deployed in production next week. Oh, okay. You're confident being here today. Justin's been working in this major rethink of facets and searches, and yeah, it will be interesting to see what he has to say.
First, thank you very much for the Ex Libris organisers. It's not easy to put on an event like this. I'm just going to talk about two broad things, and I suppose it's not going to be a real talk with slides or anything like this, just more of a discussion. So just shout out with any questions, interrupt me. If you want it to go in a different direction, just yell out. So more of a discussion, not a lecture. The first thing is, again, the total rethink of facets, and the second one is real-time user stats or user data, stuff you can't get out of Primo back office reports that is really useful information. Is there any one of those that people are more interested in, that want to see more of, or anything like that? Yeah,
The real-time Primo stats.
okay, good. We'll do that. So with real-time stats, the back office stats are they're not, I suppose, amazingly limited, but just not really good to use, not really flexible, and I can't really explain to my managers what all the reports actually mean. So some of our managers are very, they've got mathematic backgrounds and that type of stuff, and I just can't explain it to them. So we've integrated real-time, I'll just open it up. Okay, here we go. So this is real-time user stats that this is some of the scary stuff. I'll show you some of the good stuff of what we've integrated in Primo. So this is what's happening now in Primo right now. So this is just based on events, and so this is each guest is actually a Primo user, and these are all the different things that this person has been doing in their session today, and it also so it's totally real time. And from here we can, I suppose, this puts it into, I suppose, like an online database, and we can query it and get real time and stats, and you can sort of analyse the stats from the last year compared to now, and you can see get fantastic graphs. So what's happening, say with this person here, they've done a search, they've done an item view, they've done another search, they've looked at another item, and they've done a couple more searches like that. So this is just a very quick example of real-time stats. So I suppose what I said, the scary stuff is easy enough to say if they've logged in, which we can track to say this person is actually Justin Kelly. You can see what Justin Kelly is actually doing. We don't do that because obviously it's a privacy issue, but if you actually, we have, I suppose, we've had a lot of discussions about, what are users doing and how should we do the layout and that type of stuff. And we use this type of data to say, well, this is what the users are actually doing. When they do a search, they, from this type of stats, we can say, on average, they do 3 searches, and then they click, go to the details page. So this is real-time user stats that we use to back up, I suppose, a lot of our decisions, UI decisions, and for our own internal debates. A lot of times, IT will be harassing us. How many people are logging in? How many people? A lot of people say, how many people do advanced search versus basic search? how many people use facets? Yeah?
APS 548,
Yeah.
he's only using, it's going facet.
Yeah, so he's done a search on whatever, and he's done where you click on, you can see what facets he's used. But say he's done a facet for resource type, and he's gone a date range facet, and he's gone a location facet.
So that's actually, it's not doubling up at all, that's each time he's clicking, he's
Yeah.
got another facet.
So all this is, none of this is, I suppose, out of the box. So if you use Google Analytics, a lot of times you just put in the code and Google does all this amazing stuff, and it tells you very broad bits of information about how many people are doing what. This is all reprogrammed, we put, I suppose, JavaScript into the Primo pages, and based on any events, so where they click or what search they do, we put in certain, record certain events. So with this, we can see what people are searching on now, what they searched on yesterday. What we use that for is, a lot of times we used to get a lot of failed search results, where they did a search and they got 0 results. So with this, we could report, I can show you later, how many no search results we're getting, what people are searching on, and you can exactly see what everyone is searching on now. I mean, you can probably do that in the back office, but I really hate the reports. I hate ARC if you use ARC or anything like that. But this is extremely detailed reports on exactly what you want. So we use this for, again, fights with our own IT department, with our various other stuff. And one of the things is, as long as you've got data, it doesn't matter if it's 100% accurate, but if you've got data, you can back up any of your arguments that you're having fights with. So we'll go in and show, I'll show you some of the good reports.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
The guest ID,
Yeah.
does it actually correspond to the session ID?
It's not so if you log in today, and you log in 2 weeks, you'll get it'll be the same user ID, but that's not related to anything. So that's just the third-party service has given you a user ID or whatever. But you can, again, we can programmatically say that this user is actually Primo user Joe or something like that. So you can tie a user to a session user to really see what they're doing.
So in that case, will you need to do a bit more than the JavaScript?
Yeah, no, so on that type of example, you say on login, set the JavaScript variable username equals the login name, that type of stuff. So again, it's all done programmatically. But the benefit is you track exactly what you want, and you can see and you can get really, really good graphs that really help you. So some stuff I'll cover is you can see what's trending. You can break down between what people are searching on, and then you can see. And if you've seen the Primo query string, it's very, very long. So you can break it down into whatever's in the query strings, and they did a search in the first tab, and then you can say exactly what, break it down by who clicked on which facet and break it down further, however you want. Also, the good thing is you can do calculations, so formulas, so you can do an over time tracking of, say, one basic one is advanced search versus basic search. So I'll show you a report later that says, just got a nice little graph that says, it goes 10% versus down to 5%, whatever, how many people actually use that. So that is formulas, so really good for calculations. Again, there's the streams, which is the scary stuff where you can really track who does what. And if we go back to the streams, which is here, so all these events, so these are just a few events we're tracking: login, a facet use, search view, and an item view. So these are just 4 things that we're tracking at the moment, and we programmatically put them in. When we track a facet use, we put a record in here. Anything in Primo, you can say anything in Primo that a user does, like clicks or types in, you can record and track that type of stuff. So this is just the, I suppose, the stream of information. This is basically like, think of it like the SQL inserts into a database. So this is just all the data coming in. You use all these other tools to get the reports and the really good stuff out. So let's go in over here and we'll look at some other quick reports that are really useful.
So are you sending the information to a database of MySQL?
Yep, so if we look at here, this one's called Mixpanel.com. It's a third-party provider. I suppose they're competing against Google Analytics, where they say Google Analytics is about hits, they're about events, and which is what we want to track. We want to track events in Primo. We want to track how many people did advanced search, which facet they clicked. You know, if they click the third result or the first result, this is the type of stuff we can track.
So is that something you purchase, you know, from Mixpanel.com?
Yeah, you can purchase. We're just on a free account at the moment, but it's somewhere between $3 and $100 a month. But it all depends on how much you care about tracking a certain thing. A lot of times we only track stuff for might be only a couple of months, just to justify a certain decision that we're about to take.
Does it actually work like Google Analytics? So does it give you the JavaScript?
Yeah, so they're really, really good. It's just like Google Analytics, but for events within a page. So they give it all to you, but then you write your custom JavaScript to say, on this event, do an insert into Mixpanel to say it's a Primo login or it's a facet use or whatever you want. So yeah, extremely, the support is really fantastic. So again, this is all real time, so it's not like if you used other reporting, it might be tomorrow or something like that. So again, this is a quick one, a formula of advanced search versus basic search. So we've been having various arguments internally about do people actually use advanced search and just blow it up. And again, the same thing with facets. We've been fighting about facets. We say, and we use this data, we make a change, and you can watch the stats to go, you know, we've made all these changes to advanced search, but no one's using it. So do we actually need advanced search, all this other stuff? So again, this is real time. You can do it for any date range that you've been recording and putting data in there. It's extremely simple. So this is just for this year, but again, and you don't have to talk to any IT department, there's no databases, it's fantastic. So again, it's about 5%, 5 to 10% of people use advanced search. So that's just a very basic calculation. So what we've done here is just so what we've done here, we've just done, you can do it in many different ways. But say someone who's come to the first page, and the mode comes from the query string is advanced. That means they've done advanced search, and we say versus everyone who's come to the first search page. So this is just a very simple one, but then you can get as complex as you want, and you can really get really granular if you want to. So a lot of the times, we don't use it all the time. It's just if we need to justify something or we are really interested in a specific change we're doing, we want to see the results. We use this to track it, and it's not like we're just guessing stuff. Oh, we think the users like it, or no one uses facets, or everyone uses facets.
Can you tell how many of the 5% are library staff?
We could if we wanted to, but it would be a lot. Unfortunately, which is why we're making a lot of changes, which we'll talk about later. Yeah?
And do you consider 5 to 10% as limit of your client population?
Yeah, I think more than 10%. I think would be a big amount of people using advanced search. And we do the same type of thing. Let's open up our one. So we've got two tabs here, which is just local and everything combined, and we do the same type of thing. Who uses local versus Primo Central? Same type of thing, but which is quite a lot of people use articles, books, and more one, which was quite surprising. I thought no one would click there, but a lot of people do. So, but we're doing a lot of changes to this interface because of I suppose a lot of these results we get, which helps us define what the users actually want and what they're we can see what they're doing. So it's not like before. When we first started with Primo, we just said, the users want this, or this is how they're going to do it. We can see how they're actually doing it now. So I'll go back in here, and so this is basic. Go back into the formulas. So again, as long as you're recording stuff, you can do maths against whatever you're recording. So one of the other ones is say percentage of people have gone past the first page. Not many people, obviously, as you know, no one goes past the first page of the search results. Facet use, so this is only one started here, but there's been a lot of work by the librarians, the people who go into the faculties and talk to the students about promoting facet use. So facet use used to be a lot lower than 20%, but it's about 20% of all searches they use a facet. They use a facet when they're doing a search query.
Do your clients set the preference for how many results they get in their first page? So you could see if you get
10.
But you can set it to.
We can, but I mean.
Most people have 10, so I'm just wondering if you factor that into.
No, we haven't factored that into it, but we just factor in that the human nature. You get to hear, you're already bored, and think about something else. So.
It'd be interesting to see across libraries because the advanced versus basic, we're looking at around 10%.
Yeah. So I think if you did have 10%, that'd be quite a lot of people. So, but I mean, for a long time, it was when the students come back. Obviously, at the moment, see 10% is all staff. When the student comes back, it will go down to 5% below. So.
Because when I'm looking at images, I reset my preferences to a bigger number because it just wasn't the first end.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Have you compared the data that you retrieve from this setup and with the Primo back office, click-through statistics?
No, I mean, I really don't like the back office stuff, which is why I look at it and I'm bored and I hate using it, So this, when I use this, it's beyond simple and it's just, everything just works and it's beautiful and it's quick and, you just click a button and you don't have to think wait for 5 minutes for the back office to do something. So, you get fantastic reports. So, what is this? We'll have a quick example. So again, all these can be broken down. You can have many if you can break it down. So this is advanced and basic, and you can break it down whatever you're tracking. So each time you record an event through this Mixpanel, you can put in as many different variables as you want, and you can break it down as finely as you want. So again, this is basic versus advanced. This is not the perfect one, but this is just an example.
So is this what managers do as well? Do you do any sort of massaging to present managers?
No, I mean sometimes I just might summarise it, but most of the time I just use it for our own internal ones, and I can just, here's a report, I can say, look, 20% are now doing this. And it's not, you don't use it for, it could be used for, managerial reports and all that type of stuff, but mainly it's just I use it to justify our internal decisions and just to see what is actually happening. When you get closer to an exam period, you look at the type of queries that are going on. I publicise that internally to the various librarians, and they'll talk to their own departments so they know what is actually happening. And you can see, obviously, all the course codes start flying when it's exam time. You can see how popular courses are, and many of those search results are actually giving bad search results. So they'll go and change all the data based on all that type of stuff. So,
I was going to say, just remember the rest of the lines. Just curious.
yeah. So the first ones up here, these are, suppose you use Google Analytics, these are their built-in ones, browser, all that type of stuff. But once you get down here, this is like the print, the facet they picked, or whichever page, or what the actual query was. So that's what they searched for, or what the record sort of. So these are things where, and this is tab, and this is like if they used a different view from our default view, which view did they use, which tab did they use. So we can say everyone's using the second tab versus the first tab, and they're using this view versus that view, and all that type of stuff.
So you think it's up to Google Analytics?
Oh, I get to this thing. As soon as a search is done, it shoots up data. We put in some JavaScript in it that shoots up data into here to say this is what happened, and then we use this to go and break it down in a really nice way.
Yes. I know one of our managers choose that for
So again, this is so this is a quick report. This is just on tab usage. So most of the tab usage is it's actually it's pretty similar, where it's like 50-50. Sometimes it's 40-60, that type of stuff. But I'll see. So this is just a quick example, but you can get it. It does make it really nice. So this is just a quick one. What people search, what the most common things people are searching on. But you can get really good reports about over time how people's search patterns actually change.
Have you identified or tried to identify whether people got what they wanted?
Yeah, no, I mean, you could do that. So what you do, that's what I suppose what we haven't done, but we could do. You could do how many searches they did until they placed a hold,
Or downloaded an article.
Yeah, so a lot of times, ones we've done is search results by, they've gone into the full display of the item view. So once they get in there, they probably found what they're looking for. So you can, it's easy enough to track, what that ratio is, which is, we've done that in one of the things, formulas is searches divided by item views. So normally when you get to an item view, that's so it's say about 1 in 3, they might do about 3 searches and then go into one item view, that type of stuff. So all those type of quick reports we can get out of this type of system.
What about something like learning analytics? That's the big buzzword.
Mm.
So if you had a student in the full department that they were enrolled in, could you use
searches by department, number of searches?
Yep. So again, it's not something we do, but you could say when they log into Primo, you'd have, as long as you tie that user to a department, like some system, which you could do if you've got query our LDAP system or whatever that, you could get the user, find the faculty or department they belong to, and then you could do queries by department or items by department, all that type of stuff. So this has been, it's all very, whatever you want to track, you can track it, you just got to think about how you're going to, on what Primo actions you actually want to report. And yeah, I can't recommend this product enough, Mixpanel. We're on the free one, but it has justified, really helped justify so many things. Where instead of a lot of times we used to have, 20 people sitting around a table thinking, I think the users do this, no, I think they do that. And so no, they do this. So it's free and it's easy and it's really, really good. So, it does. That's what it is. A lot of times, like, we have fights with our IT department about how many people are logging in. They think too many people are logging in or whatever, all that type of stuff. And we said, so we put in a new one. How many times people have logged in? They thought, well, they've got to charge us more for using more servers, all that type of stuff. So all this stuff. So we said, well, this is how many people log in, and it's an absolute figure that most people will accept. So it does help them solve fights.
You said that you sort of switched it on and off. So is that the case? So you
No.
continuous now?
It's continuous, it's on, but we only look at it for a specific purpose. It's not like your managerial reports where you look at it every month to see that more patrons are coming in, or it's not, I suppose, it's just to see what is actually going on, and we just want to see, and to help out the librarians with what people are looking for, maybe they should change certain things, all that type of stuff. And again, we have, see if I can find some other good ones. But some of the good data is just seeing what people are searching for right now. Well, but if I asked you what are people searching for and you put your Primo, who knows? Go to the back office report. But so this is searches from the last couple of days, and it just gives you the quantity of how many and what people are searching for. I suppose trending is if it's going up or down. You see people they were searching for this, but they're not anymore. All that type of stuff. So again, this is pretty a simple view, but you can at different periods of the year you see very different usage patterns, and you can then like one thing we had where people were searching for courses like with a spec like that course is like HAH 219, and they're searching it for one way and they'll get no results. And you can see in this type of system, you can see what search queries are getting no results. And you can say, instead of trying to re-educate the population about how to search for things, it is the students now. If you look at the people who come in at first year, they've had Google for the last 10 years, or they just expect you type in any random stuff and you get this amazing result. And we have to try and accommodate that type of stuff. And it's us fixing our data or changing things to accommodate for the different users which come in.
The digital, the ones in the past, they've been specifically done as a facet. So really, is it just frequency? Like, say, for example, design occurred in 5 searches. It wasn't that there were 5 searches on just the word design. So it's the frequency of the term, the search term, unless the specific.
No, I think that's the exact one word
That's
query.
one of the problems we've had, trying to have these separate out. We get Queensland a lot, which I'm sure it's in conjunction with another word.
Yeah. But no, with this one, it's just, I mean, this is a simple one. If you wanted to look for that type of stuff, again, you would program your own type of thing to really to break out that type of thing. This is a very quick snapshot of what's going on.
So if I strung together, IT project management, my 3 search terms in the simple search, it can put IT project management in the search.
Yeah, it's just, this is exactly what the user actually typed in. The plus is just pretty much just puts that in for the space. So this is exactly what they think. And they'll get filled up with false terms once the students got stuff on the web.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned earlier you put the JavaScript into individual JSON pages.
Yeah. So a lot of times in say like your footer.html, or we've got in there like a JavaScript file. We just put it all in there. So we just put in that one footer file, and it just tracks all the different events. So it'll look either for URL parameters. So it will break up the URL and say it says mono equals advanced. So you say okay, that came from the advanced search. But you can track it based on like JavaScript. So you can track it based on action. So you can track which facet you click. So you do on click of a facet, record facet use, all that type of stuff. So you can do it via a lot of the ones that we record at the moment are based on the URL parameters. We just break up the URL, we know what they do based on what the URL is. It can be on any type of click or query action.
But this is in the footer.
Yeah, we've just got our own Swinburne JavaScript file in the footer, and we just add to that. So it's just like Google Analytics, but just a lot more custom to exactly what you want. So these people trying to sell themselves as you're kind of, instead of you building a back office reporting system like Primo back office, they've already done it, and it takes you two seconds, and it's amazing. I couldn't rave about it more. So let's see what else I have. Yep, so there's formulas, streams, which is you can see exactly what people have done and track it. The other thing I talked about is the last one, which is events versus pages. Go back to so this type of thing has two main, how you get the data in is based on either pages, which is just like Google Analytics, is this is the page they went to. Very simple type of stuff, but the actions, what they really try and sell and push is events. So this is where you program in based on the certain events, you record that, and the more events you put in, is I suppose the better stream you see. You see the real flow of what people are doing, and that's how you can get your really granular reports as well. So before you're just guessing about, maybe they click this facet or they don't click that facet, you can record, in any type of thing you're thinking about, you can pretty much record and query it, and the main thing is reporting on it. So a lot of times I just might take a snapshot of some of those graphs and just send it out. And that's really useful, powerful information to a lot of the librarians too. Because a lot of people just guessing about what's going on. But now we can really see what's going on. And I haven't been into the back office reports, and I haven't used any of the ARC or any of that type of stuff since we've started using the system. If we want a report, I can easily just create more events and just track it over time. And it's really been super easy to see. Yeah, so that'd be, you could, if you go into here, so if they clicked on there, which we've got ours to, on certain ones, to just open up in a new tab. So you'd say on click of that, record a ebook viewing event, or on click of that, that's where that's the one that pops up in the routine. They've viewed an ebook, that type of stuff. So you then track the usage of all of those different things. Does anyone actually use more?
Justin, in relation to that, can you actually go to the level of what titles that you look for facets?
Yeah. So we've got issues. So yeah, you could say if they came to this page, you could just get the so there tells you what the record is. So you'll just record that. So you could say if they come to an item page, record, and you can just, if you saw before, so this is doc equals whatever, we could record. You could do a query and show me all the document IDs, which is the Primo ID or the Primo record, show me the most popular ones or all that type of stuff. So again, it's based on, however you can get the information out based on the URL, break it up, and it just takes a while to figure out what all the different URL parameters do, what they actually mean, or based on the URL or based on like a user event like a click or whatever. You can report on that and dig down and as granular as you want.
Are you doing any reconciliation between these stats and say vendor stats?
Yeah, I haven't, but I've given access to, like me before we had a project to look on no search results. The project was mainly to reduce the amount of no search results. So I created a lot of custom reports and I gave all the data to the team who were looking at that. And I suppose we didn't do a whole reconciliation, but it just, I think this was a more easier way to view the same type of data. But I wouldn't say that it's going to be one for one. In a lot of things it doesn't really matter as long as it's a lot of times it doesn't matter if it's 10 or 20, as long as you can track it over time, it doesn't matter if it's half or double. As long as you can see the trends, this is the most important thing.
So, just when you said you did the
I haven't.
oh,
I was saying if you wanted to query, if you wanted to see department use, at the moment, back in here.
yeah, I was just wondering, would that be JavaScript or would you extract information do it outside?
Yeah, you have to do it in your JavaScript query, like when they've logged in, when you try to log in event, do a JavaScript query to LDAP if you can, I don't know, to get the full details out of the LDAP system, which as long as you guys put in departments or faculties in the LDAP information, you can then break down between what faculties are doing what. So again, this is much more detailed information than what you can get out of Primo back office. Well, Primo back office is a very general, someone got given a task, create 10 reports, so there was 10 reports.
You can only get those if the users have to log in to do a query and you know what to look up in the LDAP.
Yeah, that's correct. You have to base it on, well, it depends, as long as they've logged in once, pretty much, because these sessions, if I click on one of these user sessions, have a look at that. So there's 6 weeks ago, and what they're doing right now, and what they did 6 weeks ago. So as long as they log in once, you should be able to tie that user ID to this session. course, we don't because it privacy information. We wouldn't want to do that, but if you wanted to, you could. So again, I think you can do similar types of stuff in Google Analytics, but at Swinburne Marketing controls Google Analytics, and I didn't want to talk to them, so. But they're very much, they use it for obviously for marketing purposes, not for, what people are doing. They say, so it's two different purposes, and I don't want to mess with, their reports and that type of stuff. So I think here, you've got full control, you can go crazy and all that type of stuff.
So are you relying on a cookie to identify that person, or do you need them to log in before they start doing any queries?
Yeah, as soon as they hit a Primo page, it starts recording it. So it's just based on standard JavaScript code. Same as Google Analytics, just how Google Analytics works, but this is just you can customize it for whatever reports you want. So if you think Google Analytics before events and your own back office, it's exactly the same type of thing as Google Analytics.
How does it know it's the same list over 6 months?
Well, I don't know. But I suppose, like they said, the cookie or whatever, however they do it, they do it. The same type of thing with Google Analytics, they track returns, they track returns, so they know that only 10% of people come back every week or whatever. However they do it, this is how they do it as well. But you can actually use it to create some very useful and good reports. Yeah, oh, you could, yeah. So again, this is really, really good to argue your points in various meetings. Is you can actually see 4 searches and then an item result. So from there, either the searches aren't good or maybe the search results we are providing are not good. And this is there are, depending if you've got people in your staff who care about that type of stuff. It gives a lot of people a lot of useful information they couldn't get any other way. Is there any other questions on real-time stats? No?
I think any Java code you written down, scripting you written down.
Good question. That's right. Yeah, I just looked at it on the page.
Justin, how long have you got to really make it to facets?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Let's go as long as we want.
Have you done any tracking on your get it screen?
When people get to aesthetics, that as well.
Huh?
When people get to aesthetics,
Mhm.
are we thinking that as well?
No.
So it's just a Primo.
Yeah, but again, you could, if you want to do it, you could. I don't know how to do this in Firefox. Yeah, again, I'll show you for our facets stuff. Again, it's okay, here we go. Here's some of the. So what we did here, all we did here is just say this is how you, just like you Google Analytics, this is just your intro bit. And what we're doing here is we get different parameters of the URL and assign them certain things. So we can say that this, all these different things, give them actual same words, and So this one here, if a user has logged in and the status is logged in, record a new Primo login event. So this, it's really simple, and you can, again, so you just, whatever custom event, you just record in your event, and it's based all, it's not strict like if you're thinking SQL where it's got to be in certain rows, just anything, any type of rows, or just put anything in and you get it out later. So you can just chuck any type of data in there, and so here we go. So we've done, this is like a facet use one, or this is an item view that comes to an item. So we're going to record the query and tab and all that type of stuff. So that's a quick example. As long as you know basic JavaScript, you can figure it out. And all the ones we're using are very simple, and they're based on the URL parameters, which may not be 100% correct, but a lot of times accuracy doesn't matter. It's more just being able to track it and see the flow and see history. It doesn't matter if it's 100% correct, as long as it makes sense. That's the most important thing. So again, very simple, or simple enough. You know, any type of web stuff, you can figure it out. Any questions on that?
Is there an impact on the speed of search, having all these extra things being logged?
Yeah, we stick it right down the bottom, so the page will load, so the user will see stuff, but then you'll still get the spinning wheel type thing. So I suppose it won't impact on the time that they see the data on the screen at them, but it will impact the page load. So the page might take a couple more seconds to actually load. We'll put it right down the bottom, so it should be the last thing, so they should see the screen content first. So it does have an impact, but we try and, I suppose, mitigate that.
As Primo is upgraded 4.1, 4.2, are there any aspects of that code that might get broken?
Yeah. So before I did the facet one, FCTN or whatever like that, with the new Primo, you can they do change their URL structure, especially if you start doing this crazy stuff. They will put in different type of each different release has these different type of URL parameters. So most of the time they'll be standard, or most of them stay relatively the same, but they might put new ones in, that type of stuff. And again, as long as you're not too concerned about 100% accuracy, it doesn't really matter if you're only getting half the stats, as long as you're getting something and you can present a case to your managers or whoever it is. It doesn't. But yeah, I think we did this for Primo 3 and didn't change anything for Primo 4, and it still kept working. That is my user stats. If there's no questions, I'll talk about facets. Is there enough time? I don't even know what the time is. Cool, okay. We'll talk about facets, or I suppose in the more big context of search. One of the big boss of our department, who was the boss of, I suppose, information resources, which does contain the library as part of, is one to have a big rethink about just the concept of search in the library. And a person in one of the people in our web team was given the task of the project just to review all search, not just library, not just academic, everything, and see what the users expect, what are we doing, what should we be doing, and what is, I suppose, best practice for modern search, not just in the context of library and cataloguing and all that type of stuff. So as a result of that, I suppose our new Primo that we're about to launch on next week, we're going to pretty much remove all the facets, and we'll be going to a single tab. So just have a quick So this is sort of the old system, and this will be the new one. So this is an old search box, and this is the new one. But I can show you. I'll show you it, but first I'll show you why. I'll go to another search and show you some of the problems we had. But some of the main problems that I suppose the person who was doing the project identified was, I don't know if you do it, but we've got format and type. Does everyone have a lot of different separators like that, or do you just have one? So the person found that pretty much format and type is pretty much trying to show the same information, like what is the thing. A lot of times, a lot of our information is still very caught up in the cataloguing world, and things that a lot of times we catalogue things and we present them, which is not how an undergrad, an 18-year-old, a fresh grad is actually thinks about records. What is a book and what is a DVD and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times the distinction between format and type is that there really should be no distinction. We're trying to present the same information, but we're still in our cataloguing type thinking of separating it out into cataloguing type ways. The same type of thing with date. It's quite though there's been some work on date, it's not really this type of very broad and how they separate date there is not really helpful. And especially in Primo 4, there's been some really, really good advances. So there's some really, really good options that are in advanced search, which is date range searching. That's really good, but it's really horrible to use. The same thing, we were really excited when we heard there was going to be include excluding facets, but we really don't like the implementation of a lot of the really good features. So we think Primo has got great technology behind it, but some of the things has not been implemented in a way that an 18-year-old who's on their iPhone thinks about or wants to use. A lot of them have been implemented very literally. If you look at further advanced search, again, it's got some really good stuff in advanced search. It's hidden away, and this is date search. You've got to put in the day, month, year, and most people just give up. The same type of thing, what you can search for in here, these are really useful things, but a lot of times they're hidden away. And again, might be only 5% use this, and most of them are librarians or PhD people, where we're trying to expose, and what the outcome of the project was trying to expose the best features of Primo to a way that someone who doesn't know anything about library systems can actually use it and get the best features out of it. Because a lot of times in our meetings too, what we want to display is a lot different from what the user wants to see. We're still fighting with our cataloguers. They say, in the book record, you should say that it's 10 centimetres by 3 centimetres, and we have big fights about that. But but if you look at the kids who come, and we've got a lot of TAFE people too. Nothing wrong with TAFE. I'm saying a lot of the information we're presenting is totally irrelevant to a lot of the users. And a lot of the technology in Primo is really, really good, but we just really don't like how it's being implemented. And we were expecting with this more options where we were again really excited about this, but we were assuming it's going to be something really nice to use, like if you use Google or Amazon or Facebook, you just click, 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 and not a really clunky thing like this, which no one's been using effectively.
It was click, click, click in the very original demonstration of Primo 4. It's click, click, click down the facet.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be, that's what we thought it was going to be. Yeah, I want this, I don't want that, I want this.
Yes, I couldn't believe it when
and then we saw it, I thought, oh my God, who actually did this? So we're really really, really happy with that functionality, but very disappointed about its implementation. And there's been a number of things in Primo that have had really good, we really like the concept, but we've badly implemented it. So with our rethink of what is search, we're really trying to push some of the best features of Primo out there directly to the users. So I'll show you
So when they looked at redesigning search, did they only look at how it would appear on a tablet, a netbook, or how it would appear on the iPhone? Did they look at both, well, let's say small mobile device and large mobile device?
No, at the
plus
moment,
a
it's
desktop?
just we're still thinking desktop browser. Just basically, I suppose most of our users, 90% is still like this, and it was just in this desktop concept of basically how search works from, like tabs, do tabs make sense, and what makes sense and what do people actually expect. So the big outcome was, in here, this is our current one, we've got the 2 tabs, so probably a lot of people have got tabs and they've got scopes and that type of stuff as well. The new one is no tabs, there won't be any, so I'll just open up our new one. So this is our new one here, obviously we're going for the combined one versus the 2 different tabs. I do think you get a lot better, it's just a much better search experience. And again, on the side, we've got rid of all the tabs, all the facets. So again, in type, this is a combination, each of those might be 3 or 4 things from either format or type. So a lot of times we can, like videos, would be a combination of, might be a couple of different formats and a couple of different types, and we put it in as video. So instead of separating it out, we just make it really simple, what do actually people want. Most times I want a book, I want a video, or an ebook. And the same thing here with date search. We really, really like date search, but really dislike how it was done in advanced search. So we looked at like Google, Amazon, all that type of stuff. How do they do date searching? And it is just give people quickly a couple of, most people only want to give me the books from the last 5 years because I don't want to look at a computer book from 30 years ago. And customs, it doesn't look good here. So this is one other thing we've got to fix up. We just have a little slider here, you can't see here, I have to look it up. But it's 2 seconds to put in a custom date range instead of going to advanced search and doing this. So just have to look at this. But again, this is one of the main features, is super simple way to get some of the best features out of Primo, which is again custom date ranging. There should be a little slider that makes it.
So does this mean you're getting rid of the include exclude option?
No, so those, so if you click on a book, a video here, click on video here, that does a few different includes. So that does include by streaming video as well as like streaming DVD, VHS. So it does a few different things behind the scenes. So again, we couldn't do a lot of those things with normalization rules. We couldn't control what was coming out of Primo Central. So with the new include exclude which came in Primo, we can include, when we click on a book, we say it's it's a print, the type is print, and it's the format is what physical book and all this type of stuff. So in each different one we have a few different includes from different types and different formats. What is, I suppose, the most sanest way to combine all the different data and make it really easy for the user to actually get what they want very quickly without having to, go to library type thinking mode. So
It's always a trade-off between making the user experience as good as possible, seems like the direction you're heading, versus making it possible to upgrade fairly easily without lots of having to reapply lots and lots of customizations. How much work did this entail that makes it, like how far away is this deviated from just straight out of the box Primo?
yeah, no, very good question. And let's have a look here. So the facets, all this information, here, this is our location information. So this tells you which where it's actually at. All this on the left-hand side comes directly out of facets. So the facets are still there hidden. So if you can still see the facets in the code in actual HTML, but we basically analyze the facets and present it in a what we think is a better way. So we're still using everything from the facets, just presenting it in a way that we think makes a lot more sense to our, we've got high school students, TAFE, up to a PhD astrophysicist, sort of broad spectrum, just to make it really simple. So we're not breaking anything. It's all based on facets, but we're presenting it in what we think is a simpler way, but you can still get the advanced features that were hidden in advanced search and all that type of stuff.
And with JavaScript, is that
Yeah. So again, so if you just looked at the code, you could see what we're doing. We analyze all the facets. So we analyze the location facet, like here, location facet, and chuck it in here, and then we analyze all the different things, and just analyze the facets and just put in a new style of facet on there. So we really like the concept. But another thing we really like faceting and faceted search. We just didn't like the execution that had come out from Exlibris, which is again a few different things we hadn't liked the implementation of a few really good concepts. So
one of the things in the facet display is that it shows you what data actually exists in your results set. For example, in the formats, it would say there's a book or there's a video. In your display, you're allowing the user to say what they want, but in the results set, you're not showing them which ones actually popped up in the results set for the search needed.
Yeah, that's correct. I suppose there's just a trade-off. Some people put at the top here, they have scopes of, they get their data up front, and what we're sort of just coming at a different angle of same type of thing, and agree that the facets do show you what's available, but I suppose we're trying to say is the facet of, what do you want, and then we'll get the information from what you want, and I suppose still use the advanced features of Primo, but really try and bring it more in what is a normal web experience versus what is an advanced library system experience. So it's just a different way of thinking of it. And again, one of the things we wanted was to bring. We really like, I suppose a lot of the librarians do these title and author search, which you can get from advanced search. They put that straight up there in the basic search. So that's one of the other changes that a lot of the librarians like is making title and author search as first-class citizens, because their title, author, and date range searching is sort of some of the best features, and we just really want to promote some of those really good features, not hidden in advanced search, which no one clicks at.
How does, considering you really compacted this down, have you tried how the FIBR component now looks? Not that I think that some of the FIBR components are very good, but it does sort of try to pull some of the versions and things together. How,
Yeah, we don't have the verbalization on.
oh, right.
So that when saying that Primo Central has it on whether you want it or not. So that's a bug we recently found where so we just use the deduping to do that type of to merge different records together, and we don't have verbalization on.
So something like videos, you're combining a couple of things like DVDs, videos,
And online and all that type of stuff. Yeah.
now, how does it affect the query string? When you click on the facet, Primo gives you the results based on the query string.
Mm.
How do you combine, or what have you changed in the query string to obtain the DVDs and the online and the video?
Yeah, good question. So with the latest Primo, with that include exclude, so we're just doing, I suppose, an include exclude. We're just populating, when you click on videos, what it's doing is putting in the URL string, include VHS, include DVD, include online.
Right.
And then you can do it for format and type. So we're sort of pre-populating the URL. A lot of on the left-hand side is all done. We manipulate the URL, and that's how we sort of give the user or change the user experience through manipulating the URL and reviewing the facets. So, and for
Do you break out into more facets at any point? At any part of the drill
no, so there's no.
subject?
No. So you can go back into an item and we can put in more data here as well. So there's future plan to put in more data here, but at the moment we've removed all the standard Exlibris facets and just gone with our own faceting thing. Again, it's not, we're not trying to break anything, we're still using the facet technology and all that type of stuff, just trying to implement in a way that we think the iPod generation that has just come in, what makes more sense to them. So again, if we title, author, and all the include, exclude, and date range searching are really, really good things, but a lot of them have been really hidden in the Exlibris Primo experience, and we really want to get the best out of Primo and bring it forward to the user. So this is what we have said is that this is an evolving thing. We've got all the stats as well, so we can track if they are using this or that type of stuff. And again, if we don't like it, you just turn it off and the facets are still there. So we're not doing any major change, we're just analysing the facets and trying to present it in a cleaner, simpler way to our students. But the date range searching, which isn't working here as well as it should be, which we've got to review. We really like the date range searching, but we just want to make it really a lot simpler at the moment. Day, month, year, just make it everything 2 clicks, and again, everything so all the different date, type, and show only. Again, this is all they all work together. So same type of thing as facets, but just really rethinking facets for what do people actually want now. How do normal users, what are they expecting to see? So that is our review and re-implementation of Exlibris facets. Is there any questions on any of this? Yeah, it is static, but some of us.
Is indeed working in the sense
Yeah, some of it is dynamic, some of it isn't. So if you look here, we can put the results and how many are whichever location. Then if we think there is information that is not here that should be here, it's easy enough to add that in. But we've really tried to just give people what most people want, rather than just give them everything and then people not actually using it, because it's just, what is the type and what's the format. The kids just don't know what the hell we're talking about.
And is your audio and visual, or you don't have your audio's not, you don't have audio separate visual? Like audio's, it's all audio and visual.
Yeah, that's right.
WAV files
so we can, we can easily enough make videos. Again, that's another thing we've been arguing about internally, audio, visual, and all the different type of stuff. But we haven't added that as a type, but it can easily go in video, whatever you want to call audio, visual. But we, at the moment, so a lot of times it just does. So at the moment, we haven't put audio as a separate type, and we've just gone. Our audio collection isn't that extensive, where it's mainly video, and video is Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, and we've still got tapes, reels, and all that type of stuff. So we're just trying to make it very simple to give people actually what they're expecting.
If I drill down into video, I don't need a test to say I want to do.
No, but a lot of times we're trying. Yeah, no, but again, we're trying to. You don't at the moment, but again, a lot of times we're trying to purge a lot of stuff from our collection and make it when people want a video, it's either a DVD or it's an online streaming thing. So just try and make the most sanest or what most people want, rather than saying, but we really do have got an 8mm thing. We do have 8mm stuff, and it does say 8mm, but no one actually wants it, except the cataloguers. So.
I've seen a couple of Primo libraries who do a folder type thing on the video, and you open a folder and you get your sub A/B selection. It's really good.
Yeah. Again, there's many different. I suppose the person who designed this was really just trying to simplify it. And most of the time, if you go to video, you don't search and go to videos. There's maybe 5 results or something like that. And in the item detail and in the details, it does put out what the actual. It will say it's a VHS or a DVD and all that type of stuff as well. So it's sacrificing the functionality of facets just to more immediacy and giving the most people what they most want, rather than for every single use case.
No. Oh, it's just what is the size of the Swinburne's collection? What is it? What's the slicing and dicing one? Like the catalogue, what's it like? 20,000? I don't know.
Hundreds of thousands, 300,000, something like that. The physical items, yeah.
Or things which would come to the catalogue section.
Yeah.
If you need a PCR.
Yeah, you leave it there. It'll be hundreds of thousands. Yeah. So again, we are sacrificing some of the granularity on the facets for more of the immediate functionality that a lot of people, all the Google kids expect. So that is our rethinking our re-implementation of facets. And again, we've got the real-time stats to actually see are people using it, what's actually going on. And again, we didn't break anything. If you don't want it, you just turn it off. But we really like it, and we'll see how it goes when we put it in next week. Cool.